Remember when we used to treat you to loads of shots like that?
What was it?
Coffee for you. Joanna's just writing down the questions. Little behind the scenes for you there.
I'm separating them out into categories.
It's a bit of a rainy day today, and basically we're tragically behind on any of the editing. So we're doing a question and answer video.
I think it's quite fun though. I feel like I'm in a conversation with people. It's nice. Contestants ready.
I wonder, would we be lit better if we put the camera there?
Maybe. They're moving boats around in the boatyard, so we gotta go.
Joanna, hi.
Yes, hi.
What's the best thing about living on a boat? And would you consider a sailboat like La Vaga?
The best thing about living on a boat is moving around, always being outside, seeing new places all the time. That's the biggest pull for boat life, I think.
I do like sailboats.
Yeah, and I like the places that sailboats could take you.
Yeah, and I love sailing. We did love it, even though it put the wind up at first, because we're used to this boat, which just stays practically wobbles like this. And so the first time, we kind of thought we went sailing, knowing nothing about sailing, but thinking we know about boats though. And then it started going like that.
We were like, I think we'll be fine. We live on a boat. And then we went there, and it was so hard. Yeah,
it was great though. Joanna, what's the most important thing to look for when buying a narrowboat?
I'm glad you asked, Victor. The most important thing is the hull. Things inside can be changed around, and also you never know how you're going to live in that space, really, unless you've had a boat before. And I would never have said this before I owned one, because I would have definitely just looked at what the inside looked like. But I think the hull of the boat is the most annoying thing probably to get fixed, and the most important thing so that it still stays as a home.
What is my theory on boats is that everybody's boat's quite different, and it's quite interesting when you go into other people's boats and they say, oh no, we don't, one person will have 3 different systems for one thing, just in case one fails. They need hot water or something like that. And you go on somebody else's boat.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Hot water doesn't bother them. You know what I mean? So and you never know which way you're going to go. I think people are very adaptable, and you're probably not given as much chance to adapt if you're just living in a house, because sort of everything is sort of there and presented for you, and so that way of life you just adapt to what is kind of considered, I suppose, a bit more the norm. But then you never know how you're going to diversify.
Yeah. Another thing that you always say is have a backup system of stuff, which I think that's a really good idea, because that's saved us loads of time. So we've got the stove for heating, but we've also got the auger. Yeah. And for electricity, we've got the inverter, or we've got a generator thing.
Yeah.
Solar could power it off could charge the batteries through the engine. I'm not saying those things right, because I can see the battery running out. But have a backup source of the important things.
Yeah. Although the plan for our new boat, sort of eco boat, kind of almost flies in the face of that logic.
Yeah, because it's got a reliable source.
Yeah, one system to rule them all.
And solar.
Yeah. Right. Joanna, hi.
Yeah.
What was the transition like initially moving onto a boat?
And what sparked it?
That's the part B to that question. I was going to hit you with that.
All right, go on.
What was the transition like initially moving onto a boat?
I would say for me stressful, because I was moving on it with you. But only in the way that you'd already lived on a boat, so you knew what you were doing. But I didn't, so it was a lot of you telling me what to do, and a lot of things that I didn't think about.
Do you hate that?
I just remember when everybody would hate that. But I just remember when I put the hairdryer on that first time, and you were like, no! And all those things that I just felt like I couldn't get it. All those things are totally fine now. And going through locks, everything I've got used to. And it's fine now, but it was just that first moving on. It was it caused a different dynamic in us.
Yeah.
And that I found hard.
I mean, I didn't stand a chance. I was damned if I did.
Vic probably found it harder.
Joanna, hi.
please, no, we can't start everyone like that.
What are your essentials and must-haves for boat living?
I would say, not to be a cliche, but a positive attitude.
Right.
Because there's not really any essential thing to me that feels like boaty.
Well, alright, because we need one philosophical, so it can be that.
Okay.
One object and one mineral.
Mineral? What do you mean? Gold. My philosophical is a positive can-do attitude, because at times when I've totally lost that, the boat feels like the worst decision in the world. You think like, why don't I just live in a house? Why don't I just have space and have all those things? Like, that would feel much easier. But then when you're thinking positively about it, it's a lot more fun to live on the boat. To have confidence in your decision to do it. I just think you have to have a bit of that, so that you're not pining for other things.
Yeah. That's
What
good.
do you reckon? You can do them. You can do the thing.
I think the object, is just good waterproofs. What are your cruising plans?
To scoot up the Trent and Mersey, get on the Shroppy, head up to Liverpool, then we might scoot up to Blackburn to see my family, and then up onto the Lancaster to sort of be near the Lake District and by the sea. Do you have to pay to moor up as you travel the country, or is it just certain places? It's just certain places, which would be somewhere like Little Venice or somewhere that's in demand.
Mm.
Is it costly for diesel?
I mean, at the moment, from most places, it's about 80 pence per litre. And I don't know too much about this, but there's rumblings of what could happen in the future to marine diesel, so that then I think for boats you will have to put white diesel in, and it might make
Hike
things
up
more
the
expensive.
prices.
Yeah, which is why we're gonna go electric.
We'll come to that later. There's questions on that. Don't worry, you'll get a chance. Someone asked, can we have a tour of your home too? We do have a tour.
Yeah,
we did a tour.
You got one. You want
and
it, you
we'll
got
put
it.
it up here.
Ding. But we're sat in it now, so you've had quite an extensive tour of
The sofa dinette area.
Feet, yeah.
Would you get a dinette again? I think that's quite a big decision on about a dinette or not. Or maybe the real decision is fixed furniture or not.
Yeah.
Just like being in a small space, sometimes you just want to, space and light. Like, I always think of it when we learn about white space in magazines. Like, it's there to be luxurious, to say like, hey, we've got a whole page here and we only need to print this picture on it. And it doesn't matter, we're wasting the rest. Like, we've got all this advertising space, but we're wasting it. But it's not a waste, because that space is such a valuable thing for I just think for your mind. Space and light are so valuable, so if you can work those into the design of the boat, great. I'd even give up a room. Like, if we're gonna have a dinette and a sofa, I'd just have a bigger room with a sofa, just because it feels better.
Oh, I didn't know that. Did you know anything about boats before you lived on one?
No, I knew nothing. I think that's a better question for you, because Vic was the instigator of the boat moving on to, because he'd lived on a boat before. So what did you know before your first boat?
I knew that you had to move around every 2 weeks. That was it, actually.
Heating. Is it okay not to have it in the bedroom, realistically?
Yes.
Yeah, because the bedroom's also the only place that you have a big fat duvet to snuggle into. So...
And that's nice.
That's very nice. Alright, these ones are more business. Business, baby.
Yeah, you come to the right place.
Why did you decide to have a cafe coffee boat? How are you supporting yourselves during the renovation? It says reno. I feel like that's quite American.
Yeah, cool.
Hello. We
to America.
we both worked in hospitality before, in bars and cafes and stuff, and they were always my favourite jobs.
I think probably subconsciously, maybe. Or maybe consciously. We're moving towards the sort of philosophy of live where you work a little bit more. I think probably a lot of people are. Or work where you live, or just sort of have them as one thing, do you think?
How can we hipster up our lifestyle, I think was our main our main.
So now we're digital nomads.
Yeah. I'm just going to check the focus. Smile. It can't focus if you don't. What's the biggest challenge of opening and running a water cafe compared to being on land? We don't know.
Refrigeration.
Another thing that I think we'll discover once we're up and running is, and something we're trying to figure out now, is suppliers. And like, if we're moving around all the time, we'll have to think about all the deliveries that we'll have to get. I'm sure there's a lot of roving traders out there that'll be able to think of more challenges for us that we're about to come across. When do you hope to open your cafe boat?
Oh. Hopefully in October. Please.
Yeah. Do you have day jobs, or is the cafe boat your full-time job? The cafe boat will be our full-time job. We did have jobs as TV editors, but we're trying to make the cafe the full-time business. I like this question. It came from someone, and her husband said, "How will you finish the trim on the inside of the windows? For the love of God." That's how we feel about those trims too.
Yeah, we don't know.
Will you be doing vegan things? We get that quite a lot.
Yeah.
And the answer is yes. Okay, quick fire.
Whew.
How old is your boat, Holly?
Old? 3
Yeah.
years.
0.
5 years.
How
Longer
How
than
long
that.
is your...
Older than that. 7 years. 7 years old, 0 is.
This is a quick fire.
Okay, sorry.
Quick fire. How long is your boat?
54 foot, both of them are 54 feet long.
We've seen nice pictures of Holly, but how about a wider angle of 0? We will put that here now. Okay, this is a section called Fantasyland.
Ah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Are you still thinking of that pedal-powered boat?
Yeah. Big time.
It's changed a bit though, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has changed quite a bit. The pedal power, I think, I've since found out is perhaps a little bit ambitious. So now I'm trying to explore other ways of... it's basically like to get an alternative power generation source other than solar. You can get like...
Battery's running low, so please hurry.
You can get like heat generators that make a very small electrical current out of a difference in temperature. If it's sat behind the radiators in between where the hull is in contact with the cold water, that would be quite a good temperature difference. Maybe.
Does it have to be that big of a temperature difference though? Because I think
Bigger
that would
than
be
a bell.
crazy to have the hull exposed inside. Right. And this is... You have to be quick with this one because the battery really is running out. Are you going to put the portholes the right way around on the boat?
Nah.
That's all the questions.
Well, thanks for those questions.
Yeah, thank you for sending those in. I hope that we've answered them well enough. Or if not, put something down in the comments below and maybe we'll do another one of these at some point in the future. Or I can answer them in the comments. And we'll see you next week when we'll have edited another video and update you on Holly.
Yeah. It's going to be 80s themed, this next video.